everybody, it's Marcia from Kansas Misfit, and today I want to share some information I found on water storage for when you can't get water. How much water does one person need? How much water, you know, do we need to have to last you a while? When I was growing up, I was told to try to get a year's supply of food and water and fuel and things like that to last for a year. And how do you know how much water do you need? How much no? You know, I don't know by on top of my head, but I do have a chart and I have the knowledge in my hand that I'm going to share with you. It says water storage. Some water reserve should also be considered when you're having your storage for safekeeping. The approximate required per person on a 2-week basis is 14 gallons of water per person, 7 gallons for drinking, and 7 gallons for other uses. Storage may be in plastic bottles to which sodium hypochlorite or bleach may be added in if the purity of the water is in doubt. Generally, 1/2 teaspoon per 5 gallons if the water is clear, and 1 teaspoon per 5 gallons if the water is cloudy. Don't need much bleach, but I would do it just to be on the safe side before drinking it. Sterilized water may also be stored. To sterilize, you want to boil the water to 3 minutes and then pour into the hot sterilized jars with sterilized lids, or processed jars of water in the water bath, 20 minutes for a quart-sized jar and 25 minutes for the 2-quart-sized jar. In case of emergency, the water in water beds, water heaters, toilet tanks, and cisterns may be purified and used. Now, that sounds gross, but if push comes to shove and that's all you got, you better use it, I guess. Or can we? I don't know. It depends on how desperate we are and how much you want to go through. I don't know. I've never been in that situation. Have you? Let's see here. Because it is impractical to store a year's supply of water in most places. Especially, let's say you have a family of, like my son, he has 6 kids, 6 kids, and plus his wife. So that's 8 people. And if you have, how many gallons did it say per person? Back up here. 14 gallons per person just for 2 weeks. So that's 14 times 8. 8 times 8 times 4 is 32. 2 bring up your 3, and 8 times 1 is 8. 19, 11. That's 118 gallons just sitting around for 2 weeks. So if you're wanting a year's supply, there's not even your floor would probably cave in from all the way to the water. You wouldn't even have a living room, it'd be full of water. That's why you have a water bed, and you can always siphon that out. When you drain it, take out what you need, put the plug back in, save it for later, and then take that, if you need to, take out what you need and save the rest till the next time you need water. Boil it down, and put it in your container so you can drink and be sparse, I guess. Let's see, it says because of the impractical to store a year's supply of water in most places, it may be wise to store water purifying agents. Now, what I would like to do is get water catchment system, but I don't have eaves on my house. So I need to have that put on, whether I do it or whether we hire somebody, not me, whether we do it or hire someone to do it. We need that done so we can put something down there to collect the water so we can hook a spout on it and then turn the water on, get what you want and turn it back off until it runs out. And every time it rains, you have some water. But what if you have days and days and days when you don't rain? You got to have something else. So you might have to go walk down to the creek if there is one. Do you have one? Collect water in buckets and bring it back. Boil it down. But remember, when you boil your water, you are it's evaporating at the same time too. So don't forget that you have it boiling and you burn it up till it's gone. Then you don't have anything. So now there's a guy, I can't remember his name. And they even made a movie about it. He was I don't know if he was climbing in the hills and mountains and rocks or whatever, but he got trapped in between two rocks, and then a rock fell and pinned his arm into the area he was climbing, which held him in place and he couldn't move. And he was there, I forgot, 123 hours? 123 hours, I think. He almost died. He was starting to get delirious and really bad. He had his video camera and he was videoing himself and then imagining his family or seeing visions of his family to be his own son. He had a premonition of his own son, and he wasn't even married. He didn't even have a girlfriend. And he tried to save his own life. He even peed in this container with his water and tried to drink his own pee to stay alive. And he cut his arm off. He broke his arm first. He kept bending it and bending it and bending it and broke it. And then took his pocket knife out, a little bitty pocket knife, and just cutting and cutting, trying to get the rest of that bone, just cutting this through the skin and stuff to get his arm off. And then when he hit the nerve and cut through the nerve, and then he took his arm was stuck in that rock, and he took something and wrapped around his arm to stop the bleeding as much as he could and tie it tight, pulling it with his teeth. And then he got out. Someone saved his life. He almost died. It's a true story. I can't remember the guy's name. I'll put it in the comments as soon as I find that. 128. I don't know. The title of the movie that they made about him was the 128 hours or something like that. 129, something like that. Anyway, that's way off the subject, but they're just reminding me of him not having water. He got out and laid down in a mud puddle and was drinking the water off the ground. That's how thirsty he was. He almost died. Well, that's all I have for you on water storage and a little story of that movie. A true story. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going to talk to you about first aid kits. So find out what you have in your first aid kit, and we'll see what we have and see what we need so we can be prepared for emergencies. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you look forward to seeing and talking about first aid kits. I have a wonderful day, and I love you. Ta-ta.